see, as with many things in life where you've got a problem, the first step to resolving it is to acknowledge it. And that's what we have to do with fixing pain points. We know what the clients tell us are the big things that we need to fix. At the outset, it was we're not giving good feedback, our turnaround is slow, motor extender, personal lines at the hub are probably the most common ones. And once you know that, as we can put dedicated focus to understand exactly what the core reason is of client dissatisfaction, improve it, see whether the feedback is better, and in such a way we've made tremendous effort on all of those areas. So I think what's key about fixing pain points is not to try and do everything at once. We've identified these few ones that I just mentioned, they've improved, and then we need to move on to the next ones. So we get the feedback from customer complaints, the CSAT measures, and also, from colleagues that really knows what is not working well at what part. And as such, we'll continue to be a learning organization and move on to the next pain point, and in such a way get them out of the way. So then the question is, whose job is it to identify it and to resolve them? And the issue is, it's my job, it's your job.
Hi. The last time we talked about deliberately designing great customer experiences. But we also have to acknowledge that sometimes things go wrong. How do we recover from experiences in a way that can create loyalty? And actually, it can happen like that. There's research that shows that every time there's a bad experience that you recover from with grace and exceptional brand style, you can create great loyalty. It sounds crazy, but it's true. The trick is to make sure that you do it at two levels. That you do it at the individual level, so put those shoes back on that I talked about the last time and make sure that you think of what it feels like when you're a consumer, but also that we make sure as a team that we look at the root cause of that issue that caused complaint, and that we make sure that we deal with it so that we systemically improve and we never have that again. Next time I'm going to talk about Hollard at the heart. Cheers.
I'm a taxi commuter, and we know there's like this myth about taxi drivers being rude, arrogant, and on this specific Friday morning I met an angel. I remember the day before, I actually asked a colleague of mine to give me 20 rands because I didn't have cash and I didn't want to go to the ATM because I would struggle with change. And the following morning, it's a Friday morning, we know how hectic Fridays are. Got ready and left the house. Didn't even remember that I didn't have taxi money until I got into the taxi, front seat, and it's time to pay. Opened my wallet and it stared right back at me like there's no money here. Waited for the driver to come in, and then I gave him this smile like, okay sir, I need help. Can you please just drive by the garage so I can withdraw money and give you, because I can't go back home. I'm already late. I'm like, okay, that won't be a problem. It's fine, this trip will be free, you'll pay me next time. Like, are you serious? Like, yes. So I gathered everybody's money and gave him his total. Then he asked me, so since you don't have money, are you still going to use another taxi to get to work? Like, yes. So I need to get to town as soon as possible so I can go to the ATM and get money. Like, okay, so how much do you need to get to work? And I told him, okay, the taxi from town to Parktown is 8 rands. I was like, okay, it's fine. Just take 10 rands from that and then give me the balance. I remember giving him that stare like, are you serious? Like, yeah, I don't want you to be late. I mean, you're already running behind the clock. So just take the 10 rands and do me one favor. As soon as you get to work, you said there's an ATM, right? Like, yeah, there is. Go to the ATM and get money so you can come back home later, because I'm not going to be around. And for me, that was the best. I'll never forget that Friday. Treat him like any other person, like me and you. That's it. Do not discriminate, just like a normal person.
Hi, I'm Tasha Mudley. I am the customer manager for Hollard. Today we have one of our very, very loyal customers who's been with us for many years to interview her about an experience that she's had with Hollard. Thank you, Maletsatsi, for joining us today. I know it's quite a distance that you've traveled, so we really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Tasha, for inviting me. Yes, I did have good and bad interaction with your complaints department, but finally it paid out and I'm the happiest customer.
That's really good to hear. So how did it come about? What happened that you ended up in the complaints department?
Okay, it's a bit of a long story.
Okay.
June, end of May, my mother-in-law passed on.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Okay, thank you. Before the claim, the policy had apparently lapsed.
Okay.
That was in Feb of 2019.
Okay.
But now, because I keep my receipts and all that and I follow up, I then went back to the branch to say, I know that you guys sent a message to say it had lapsed, but I then went 6 days later to go and pay. So that I took the receipt, I kept it with me, I went to the branch, I wanted to check if the policy was activated. And unfortunately that lady, I still say thanks to her because she was friendly, she was always willing to help. She tried to check the policy with the surname, with the ID, everything. She couldn't pick up any information on that policy. And then she said, no, it's an old policy, so I won't be able to give you any information. I said, you know what, I'm not happy. And then I showed her the policy number, I showed her the person who was insured, which was my mother-in-law, but still she couldn't get any information. Up until the day of the claim. When I went to the branch, back to that Vanderbilt Park branch, I found that the branch is now closed. They've moved, I don't know where to. Then I drove all the way to Palm Springs branch. When I got there, the lady just went with that policy number, boom, she finds the policy. And I was like, how come you are able to pick up the information and all along I'm struggling that side to get that policy, the information. Okay, the lady went into the system, did her thing. Then she said, oh, shame, mama. Hi, your policy has lapsed. I said, sorry, I'm not taking that. I'm not buying that because I've paid. Here are the receipts to prove that I did pay. But somebody didn't phone me back. Nobody could help me to say the policy has been reinstated or what is the situation.
Yeah.
Then the lady said, okay, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I said, no, I'm not giving up. You give me the claim forms. I'm going ahead with the claim. Eventually, I had to write to complaints office. Complaints ended up with Elizabeth. I don't know how, but Elizabeth called me and said, I've picked up your complaint. And I was like, oh God, thank you, something is happening. Took very long. May, June, July, August, September, October, only paid out 2 weeks ago.
Goodness, that is long.
Yes, so it was daunting. But anyway, I'm happy it finally paid out.
Won't you tell me really, how did you feel about this whole interaction? What really stood out for you?
What stood out for me was the tenacity that Elizabeth had. She was very patient in the whole process. She kept on calling, even though she didn't call every day. But once in a while, I'll just get a call from her to say, you know what, I'm busy with the complaint, so we don't know whether it's going to succeed, yes or no. I said, whatever information you need, call me, I'll email, I'll send you the stuff. It was that interaction with her.
And all the stuff that happened at the branches, how did that make you feel?
I still feel that a lot can be done at the branches, especially some form of evidence to say the client was there, like a form where you fill in time in, date, name and whatever, policy number if you have to, so that you guys also on your business side can keep stats of how many walk-in clients do you get. Even if a person just comes in to say, I'm here to ask, it will help you guys going forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because on both sides we have evidence of what
Definitely.
happened. So with all that's happened, the bad experience and eventually coming to Elizabeth and it being turned around, do you think that you would recommend Hollard to your friends and your family?
I am a Hollard fan. I've been a Hollard fan since 2 decades ago. My first car was insured with Hollard.
Oh wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That
How
was
long have you been with us?
1993. So that's more than 25 years.
So you're a loyal customer. Thank you so much.
And I still bought a new policy now recently.
You really are a loyal customer.
Yes,
That's
I am.
amazing to hear. I'm so happy.
I am, yes.
I'm really, really glad to hear that your outcome could change from good to bad, and I'm so grateful that you are a loyal customer to Hollard. And we really hope that more people can learn from people like Elizabeth how to treat our customers and to make sure that
Definitely.
we turn things around.
Definitely.
Yeah.
She's one of the best. I'll
you
still
so much.
recommend her anytime.
Thanks again for coming through.
It's a pleasure. Thanks meeting you guys.